So today we're going to learn so much about how you can start your journey into data analytics. If you are in this field already, stay tuned. We are going to learn new things about how you can be able to navigate around your professional skills. And if you are somebody who is trying to change, sorry about that. And if you are just a person who is trying to navigate or you want to change a career from what you already in to a new career, which is data analyst or data scientist, this summit is for you. You are in the right place and you are here to learn much about how you can kickstart that career in a new direction. So about us, P4PE, who organize these particular sessions, the summit, we are an organization who have been in establishment for over many years now, and we are enabler. We provide bespoke solution for growth, for organizational development, for HR transformation, AI, and data analytics in Nigeria and in West Africa at large. Of course, our vision is to cover all the Africa, most especially the mid-sized business from small to mid-sized into the larger industry. But for now, we are focusing on the mid-sized business. Our mission is to ensure that we provide solutions and advisory services to all these companies that can enable them in their growth, in their development, and in their transformation. And of course, as P4P, the name represents, our value is to ensure that we are passionate in what we do, we are professional in our delivery, and excellent in the way we deliver our solutions. We have various brands. P4P, we have Proversities, where you can go to learn. It's an online program like Udemy that you can go and take up a skill and then you learn a new skill. We have leadership program that will also run that for those leaders or for those who want to move into a leadership position, this can also be a good one for them. We have a solution called HR1, who help so many HR professionals to tailor their solutions and assist them in a solutions to streamline their performance and improve the overall and the bottom line. And we also have Junior Premium. It's a game that enable you to become an entrepreneur person. So we have the senior ones, and we have the junior ones. We are in various divisions. Our head office is here in Nigeria, but we have other branches across other parts of African country. We have major solutions, business growth, as we have mentioned, organizational development, HR resource transformation, and then AI and data analytics. We'll also run certification program. If you're an HR professional here and you want to acquire a new certification in HR space, you are in a good place. You can reach out to us, whether you want to take your career further in HR. It's the SHRM is a good certification for you. We also run HRCI and so many hosts of others. And we have been trusted by various organizations who have worked for in the time past. So P4P is an organization who can give you all you need in one portfolio for whatever solutions that you want an organization to offer to you. So what is this summit that we actually are preparing and we are teaching out for every individual and professionals out there? These summits enable people to know more about a particular topic And we have 3 topics in this particular portfolio. We have AI mastery, we have data analytics for professionals, which we are going to take part of it today. And then we have career process summit. All of these 3 will give you the basic to advanced knowledge of how you can be able to navigate your career, whether you are moving into a new career, a new profession, or even you are trying to start a new business. This summit will enable you, guide you step by step, and help you to be able to navigate those areas. And in this summit, we have various speakers, qualified speakers, who can help us and tell us what we need to know, how we can, which direction to go in order for us to be able to navigate even in the face of disruption. Having noticed that, please, if you are still with me, I want you to type in your favorite emoji, indicating that yes, you are here and you are listening to us as we are about to start the summit. Place your favorite emoji to welcome all the audience to this particular session. We want to see your favorite emoji to be sure that you are listening to us, you are hearing us, and you are excited to start this particular program this morning. Are you there? Let it keep coming. Let it keep coming. Now it's time for us now to move into the first part, the first topic for today in our summit. And we have a seasoned speaker, the person of Eric Umugeli. He's from Nigeria, but he's based in Canada. So current, as he's going to be speaking to us, he's not speaking from this Nigerian space, but he'll be speaking from Canada. You can imagine the time frame, frame. As we are here around 10 o'clock, he's probably waking up to ensure that they allow this program to run. He is a co-founder of Great Analytics there in Canada. He has been a data analytics space for more than 11 years. And he has a master's degree in information system, graduate degree in business management. We also acquire a lot of certification, and many of them are Microsoft Azure, machine learning, analyzing and visualizing data with Microsoft Power BI. He has also acquired Microsoft Certified, which is Fabric Analytic Engineer Associates, Microsoft Azure Fundamental, and also Microsoft Design and Implementing Big Data Analytics Solution, Azure in IoT training, and then data governance. So the person we brought to the table to help us, to guide you, tell you everything about AI is somebody who has had a wealth of experience in this particular area. So it is time now for us to welcome
Good morning. Please let me know if you can hear me.
you, Mr. Eric. So let us welcome now Mr. Eric Omogeli as he takes the podium to address us and then give us what he has for us. You are highly welcome, Mr. Eric. Please, the house, can we give him the emoji, the welcoming emoji to welcome Mr. Eric? Mr. Eric, you have the floor. If you can hear
Let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Eric, and today we are going to be doing a seminar on launching your data analytics career. We'll look at trends, building blocks, and road path to success in this. Move to the next slide. That's my section for today is called, it's going to be tagged Data Literacy 101. But before that, I'd like to go into a bit about myself. I've been introduced already. I'm the co-founder of Curate Analytics. I'm based in Canada. I've um, been in data space for about 11 years. My real goal about data is about data and data AI and automation. I think that's a full circle at the end of the day. So that's where my mainframe is. These are a few companies I've worked for as a consultant and as a full-time staff. Ernst & Young, Stantec, ICBC, Chevron, BDO, Enbridge, and just to mention a few. At the end of this training, participants will be able to have the understanding of how data is being processed, concept roles, concept roles and data professionals, data engineering, data science, data governance, those kind of roles and segments in data. I think these are the first thing we need to understand when it comes to data. And number two, we understand data types, sources, and basic statistics concept. So in this section of the seminar, we have 3 2 minutes questions, and at the end we'll have a 10 minutes question. So if you have any questions, there'll be time in between where we can stop and you know and talk about answer those questions. So I'll start with what is data? Data is unprocessed information. So raw information, ones and zeros. It could just be ones and zeros coming out of a sensor. And one mean off, on, while zero means on. So we have to make sense of that raw, unprocessed information and turn that processed information into data. So data is the processed information that we have from. So move to the next phase. This is the building block of data. I know we're just jumping in to the deep end, but this is the whole architecture of data in any organization in the world. This is the way we process data in any. It might be a bit simpler than this, and it might be a bit more complex than this. So every application we use, Instagram, any application we use has a database. And that database is what we put information in when we create new users or we do anything. That information is stored in a database. So for example, this could be an ERP software, or it could be, it could be any application. Those application all application has a database. So now our jobs as data professional is to work with those data in that database. We cannot really do analytics on this database that's here because it might crash the application. So that's why we have this framework to get that done. This framework right now is an ELT, not an ETL. And down the line, I'll explain more what the difference between ELT and ETL. So it's an extract, load, and transform. So we're extracting this data using pipelines. We're also going to do all this or show a high-level demo of all this. So just stick with me. So we push all the data using a batch or time frequency into a data lake. It's just we dump all the data there. Then the data that is needed by the business, we push into the data warehouse, curate them, clean them, add business logic. What that looks like is we change all these 5 sources might have different date formats, might have different spellings of things. Here we clean those data in this pipeline. We clean everything and make sure everything is normalized. We after cleaning all the data, adding business logic. Business logic might be what is the total number of employees that we have. And total number of employees might be total number of employees minus students, minus contractors, minus 1 or 2 things. Then the number is going to be this. So all that information is going to be stored here. Then we might create some views and push that data downstream for reporting. This is the whole architecture. I also use the analogy of a plumber. We get water from this place. push it down here, but the water is not so clean. So we add some purification in this pipeline to purify the water, then send the water down here. And even down here, we can use the water, but children can't use the water. So we still need to do a bit of purification and cleaning, then push the water downstream to be used by everybody. So it's like a plumber, and we still use the same terminology, which is pipelines and data lakes and data warehouse. So that's this is the high level architecture of what data entails in any organization. We might use different tools, we might use different concepts, we might use streaming data, but this is the high level architecture in an organization. So we move to the next stage, which is roles in data industry. There are several roles in data. We have data engineers, we have data analysts, and we have data scientists, and we have data governance. A data engineer's role is to be able to move data, to orchestrate the movement of data from one location to the other. So moving data from point A to point B, for example, from here to here, that's the work of a data engineer, right? So they move data around, and what they do is they work solely with creating data pipelines, data warehouse, ETL process, and ELT process. They use languages like Python and SQL and cloud platform too, as Azure and things like that. A data analyst is specialized in creating insight. So those data that has moved into the data warehouse, the data analyst picks those data and clean those data, refine those data, add business logic to it, and then create data visualizations and reports. The data analyst uses SQL, Excel, business intelligence tools like Power BI. The next one is a data scientist. This is after the data has been cleaned by a data engineer and want to actually create some predictive modeling and see what future states would look like based on the historical data. The data scientists pick that and use ML models or AI models to fix AI models in those pipelines. So whenever the data crosses through the pipeline, the logic goes in play. The last is the data governance, and this is like the legal arm of data. This data governance here, we create rules, policies for data. For example, what is high-level sensitive data, what is organizational data, what is private data, and what is public data. So in data governance, that's what we talk about. That's what we do. We talk about who is in charge of the data, how we're going to use the data, who is going to restrict access controls and things like that. Um, uh, um, so this is the same diagram again, but now we have the rows at the bottom, as you can see. So this is where the data engineer lives. They move data from these systems and this database. The reason why we can't really do analytics from this database because they are connected to an application. These database are what we call online transactional database. This is what we call online analytical database because from here we can do analytics. So the data engineer moves data from these repositories and add business logic, make sure they maintain the pipeline and make sure the pipeline refresh in a scheduled time frame. They also move data into the curated zone, which is the data warehouse. That's what the data engineer do. The data analyst picks up the data from there, apply business logic, and this is where business intelligence comes in, create views and create semantic models that can be used downstream by everybody. Data science from here, they also pick the data and they work and create data models. The data governance are all around because from how we even collect the data governance have to come in place. So we know how to collect data because of regulations like GDPR and HIPAA and PIPA. So those are like data governance rules. HIPAA, for example, is the right to be forgotten in Europe. So some people will say, after I leave the organization, delete my information. So we need to know how to collect the information so we can just click a button and delete the whole information from this whole track. So data governance is all through the pipeline. So now I'll stop for questions. If there are any questions, I'll stop for questions for 2 minutes or 1 minute or
Does anybody have a question, please? You can put it in. Mr. Eric is ever ready to answer.
I'll take that as a no, and I'll continue. So we're going to move to the next concept in data industries. So we have things like SQL, which is the structured language we use in manipulating data. If you want to be in data, this is what you need to learn. And it's not so daunting or confusing. It's more like English, but this is a language that's used to manipulate data, at least widely used, mostly 80% of the time to manipulate data. So if you learn this, you're good. We also have data analytics expression, which is known as DAX. This is a Microsoft language that's like in between Excel and SQL. And this is what we talked about the other time, extract, transform, and load, extract, load, and transform. So I'll go back so we can explain more on this. So extract, load, and transform is what we're doing here. So we extract, just dump the data here, what we need to bring here, and we create down there. But extract, transform, from this process, we start transforming the data. So the transformation that happens here in that instance. But the problem with this, and the reason why we've moved away from this, is that if there's a problem here at the user level, we have to go all the way to this level to fix the problem. But if we extract load and transform here, we can just fix the problem here and just move on. But if we fix the problem here, we have to test here, we have to test here, we have to test here, test here, and test here, and test here, and test here. So that's why the gold standard right now is ELT. So we extract, we load, and we transform close to the user layer, not close to the edge. So those are the difference between ELT and ETL. And we also have concept of big data. Big data is any data that cannot be processed traditionally. And what does that mean? Traditional data comes in rows and column, but big data comes in different variations. So we have the 4 V's when it comes to big data. It's called velocity, volume, variety, and variance. So the velocity of data, so the speed of data is more. The type of data is different. So the type of data here can be unstructured. Unstructured can be pictures, voice, videos. And so we need a different kind of database to analyze big data and a different process. Data warehouse is where we store, just like the word says, a warehouse where we store and arrange data. Data lake is a storage where we put raw data. Business intelligence is on the business understanding as it relates to data. Machine learning is artificial intelligence is it's all about using algorithm to predict what the next or the future state of that data will be, or what that will be. So we're going to jump into on-prem and on cloud and cloud services, which is very, very important for us to understand this concept. On-premises are any application or anything that we have on premises, so we maintain the hardware. For example, we have the servers in our location, in our houses, or in our office. And the cloud, meaning that we're using other people's server, which is cloud, which is on the cloud, technically not on the cloud. Literally, Microsoft's cloud server is underwater, right? So it's just a lot of machine that you would have in your house, but now this is a bunch more powerful machine that is being sold to us, so we don't take care of all the hardware. And a hybrid approach is combination of both. On-premises Microsoft data platforms are what we used back in the days. So these are like SQL Server integration services, SQL Server management services, SQL Server analytical services, and SQL Server reporting services. So all these things here were used to be in the cloud. The integration services used to be what we used to move data left, right, back, center for data engineer. Management services used to be like Azure Cloud, which is that on-premise. The SQL Server Analytical Services is what we use to create semantic model and data modeling. SSRS is what we use to create reports. So SQL Server Reporting Services is what we used to create reports back then and on-premises. I will also show the cloud equivalents to all this. So we have SQL Server Integration Services. Right now on cloud, it's called Azure Data Factory. So this is what data engineers use to move data around. So in case you want to jump into data, you want to jump into data engineering, these are things you should be thinking about: Data Factory and SQL. SQL Server Reporting Services is now turned into Power BI. SQL Server Analytics Services has now been turned into Azure Analytical Services. So this is the on-premises and this is the cloud. So back then, this is what we used, but right now, this is the gold standard, what we use right now. I'll stop again for questions. If there's any questions, we could throw that in. If not, I can continue. Okay, let's continue. So in order for us to understand those concepts that we've talked about, there's a all-in-one platform that Microsoft has created, which is called Microsoft Fabric. It has data engineering, data analytics, machine learning, and also some automation too as well. It also has data visualization. For anybody getting into data, I would encourage them to start with Fabric because it has everything all in one, and it's Microsoft. And Microsoft has a mandate of no code to low code. So there's the use of code is minimized. There's a lot of drag and drop, so it's easy. Microsoft Fabric has under the hood, we have one lake. We have things like Data Factory, like we mentioned. We have things like Power BI. We have real-time analysis. We have warehouses. We have pipelines too as well. So we would move data from one end to the other using Microsoft Data Fabric. We'll move data from one end to the other end. So essentially, we will do this. Let me go back. So essentially, we'll create this from end to end in Microsoft Fabric. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So first of all, we launch into our workspace, get more option. Then we understand the services that we need to create that whole architecture, right? We need a data lake. We need a data warehouse. This for storage. This for storage and for arranging our data. We need these two things here. Then to move data around, we get data with this and clean data, and to move data from one place to the other, we use a pipeline. But we use a data flow to actually Gen 2 to actually get data. So these are the services that we need in order for us to be able to implement that solution. So first of all, create the data lake. As you can see, click create data lake. This is a Fabric protocol, very, very straightforward. After creating data lake, we create the data warehouse, same way. So now you can see data warehouse has been created telecommunication demo DW. From there, we create data flow Gen 2 to be able to get data, move data around. Now, we have to see how we can connect and get data. So we go to, get data more. So now we see all the lots of data. We can click down for view more sources. So we have data coming from so many sources. Microsoft has over like 200 data source that they can connect to. So when you want to connect to any application, it's very, very easy. You can go anywhere, connect to any application, and you'll be able to retrieve data. Even if we're using a very, 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 very old system that you cannot pull data out of, Microsoft has a language called M, and M, you can use that to create customized connectors. These are all connectors here. So you can use Microsoft's own M to create a connector to that data, or you can use Power Automate to automate the data and dump that data into an Excel file and pull that data from here. We can also get data from websites by copying the URL from SharePoint, from old data from Oracle database, from Dataverse. We can get that from any other place we want. And down here is showing us some of the things we've created. So we created a data warehouse and the data lake already. So it's showing us all that. So now I'm connecting to a web API to get data, right? For this demo. Any questions? I'll continue. So here we're going to transform, after collecting data, we're going to transform and process that data. So we've collected that data using the data flow Gen 2 to get that data into, we're trying to get that data into our data lake. So I'll be going back and forth so we understand the concept. So where we are right now is here, this pipeline, that's what you're seeing right now. So we've tapped into this data source. So we're in this pipeline now, and we're trying to move this data into the data lake. That's exactly where we are right now. Let's go. Yeah, so that's where we are. We're in that pipeline here. That's what the pipeline looks like. So we've gotten we can see what the data looks like. We can see from here, we can see everything, all the headers, look at the data. We can look at all the features of data, attributes of data. We can also start cleaning data from here. So we can transform the data, we can add columns, and anything we do on this data pipeline is going to be stored here, as you can see, applied steps. So whenever you trigger a refresh, the refresh will go into this place, apply all those steps that we create, then push data to the next location. So after we got the data here, we've done all the cleanings we want to do. All the data normalizing, we publish data. And what we're publishing to, we're publishing it to the data lake. Data lake. So now our destination, the lake house that we already created, we're going to add that data to that lake house. Now you see, we're connecting it to the lake house. Now, after that, we click next. Very straightforward. Now the data has gotten into the lakehouse, but we need to also verify that that data is in the lakehouse. And that's what we verify. We need to do this. What you see here used to take 1 week work, a lot of bugs, a lot of problems. This is one of the beautiful features about Microsoft Fabric. So in the past, when we were on premises, you first of all create a table, a code to create a table. After you create a table, you now write all the attributes and all the data types of that data that we're trying to create. Then after that, we'll now say ingest that data into that table. But with this, it's what we call a handshake. So Microsoft Fabric already detected the destination name and destination table and destination type and everything for us. So we don't even need to write any code or debug anything. So this is one of the advantage of Microsoft Fabric, of low code to no code. Yeah, so low code to no code. So from here, we can check the data now is in the data lake. So it's in the lake house. We can see the data here, already connected to the lakehouse. From here, we're trying to now move the data from the lakehouse into the warehouse. So we'll use a data pipeline for that orchestration. So we move into moving that data into the data lake. So in doing that, I had to write some queries and check data and to join some data and to join some tables before pushing that data. So now moving that data we're using this is what the pipeline looks like. So a data pipeline, this is what it looks like. And this is exactly what SSIS looks like on premise back then. So we're using a copy activity to copy data from the data lake into the data warehouse. So that's what we're trying to do right now, connecting to data sources or databases or storage layers. So that's literally what we're trying to do here. So now the data now is in the warehouse, as you can see. So we move data from the source system to the lakehouse to the warehouse. from the warehouse, we're also going to get a SQL string, and this SQL string is what we're going to use to connect into Power BI. And from this, with this SQL string, we'll be able to access all this data that we created here and share that data downstream. So from there, we'll throw that into Power BI, and Power BI does its magic. And I think holistically, from a high level, this is all you need to understand about jumping into data, mostly about the mostly about the profession. So you know exactly where you want to stay. Do you want to go into data engineering? Do you want to go into data analysis? Do you want to go into data science and data governance? So this gives you a holistic understanding of where to start from, and gives you some concept of data too as well. So now you can understand what these data concepts are about, and you can understand what a data architecture looks like from end to end. And you can also understand conceptually what it looks like to move data around from one place to the other. Um, at this point, I will stop and hand the stage over to the moderator. And if there's any question, I'll be here to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eric, for that fine presentation. Wow, this is really detailed, helping us even with the real life example of how this can be done and how we can navigate around it. The way you go about it, look as if it's data analytics is quite easy.
Yeah,
But
it's
until when you put it
easy.
into practice, that
It's easy, but it's a very lonely job, but it's very easy, but it's very rewarding. So something you need to, it's easy once you like it.
okay. So please tell us how will it be for someone who doesn't even have any career knowledge in that particular space, the data analytics at all? How can
That's
they
the
be able
best,
to come across?
that's the best person. That's the best person to actually be in data. If you don't know anything about, you don't need to be in data. So there's a panel that we're talking about data AI and data professionals. So the concept was we need more behavioral psychologists in data, right? As opposed to more data analysts, because we need people who understand behavior of people. Data analysts, we just do the numbers. So if you want and the best data professionals and people who have no idea of data, who come from farming, from music, from different other discipline. This is really not very difficult if you put your mind into it. It's very, very straightforward. If you like puzzles, or if you like moving data from one place to the other, if you like seeing things in action, I think this is the best best field to start from, and it's a very, very foundational field. You're not going to end here. If you learn everything about data right now, all these data platforms, the next level is moving to automation or moving to AI. So it's a good foundation to start that process in data. And if you're starting this data career, it's a very, very wide um, playing field. So you should niche yourself in an area. For example, I am only focused on Microsoft technology. I'm not bothered with Amazon or AWS or or Google. So it's focusing on one area. So if you want to use Amazon, AWS, focus on AWS and use it to be a professionist there, or focus on Microsoft. I use Microsoft because I think Microsoft is going to be here for a long time. They've already colonized the enterprise workspace. We have Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel,
That is
PowerPoint,
true.
and all those things have colonized. They also bought LinkedIn, also bought OpenAI, also bought GitHub. So the enterprise workspace is going to be Microsoft for a very long time. They've also taken over from the cloud, from Amazon as cloud leaders by presenting Azure Gov, which is for strictly government infrastructures. So I feel Microsoft has a very, very long road to go. So that's why I focused on Microsoft. So it's good for you to focus on one area. If you don't know where to start from, you can start from You can start from being a data analyst because that's in the middle. Then once you understand being a data analyst, you can move to data engineering or you can move to data science at the end of the day. So I'll always advise to start from the middle.
Oh, brilliant. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So it's good to know that even if you don't have any background knowledge or technical knowledge about data or any of those things, you can still come on board and still become something very uh, big in that particular space. So that is interesting to know. That's interesting to know. And I believe that for those of us who are here who are purely novice who doesn't know anything about data or data analytics, this overhead information you've given us can help us and assist us to know which area of focus which we really focus on at this moment. We'll also want to welcome comment from the audience, questions. If you have any question for our speaker, please feel free now to query him. Just feel free to ask any question. Question maybe based on what he has just discussed with us, or even a wider scope that you feel that you need someone to bring more light to it for you. You are feel free to answer, ask your questions. I think Mr. Eric is here to give us a rebut explanation to whatever question you have. So do we have any questions in the house? Let's put it on. You can type your question in a chat box. Please, we'll read it out to Mr. Eric, or you can just unmute and ask your question as well. Do we have any question from Mr. Eric, please?
I'll take that as a no and probably leave my email in case anyone has any question in the end of the day. So you can email me or reach out to
Do anyone have any question? Okay, that's fine. So you can also drop your email address with us here. We will share it on the group so that you can call. And if you have more questions as well, you can reach out to p4p.co and reach out to us. Of course, we'll be able to guide you on the directions you want to go and also help you to make the right decisions so that you can be able to enjoy your career or even when you are trying to transform from one career to the other. Mr. Eric has given us all the extensive information we need. He has helped us with the skill that is needed, not just the data analytics skill alone, and has helped us to see that even though you do not have any technical skill in data or in analytics, you can still come on into the industry and still do very, very well. But I want to ask this question as the last one. With the event of things now where AI is becoming the order of the day, and this AI is doing so much in industry today that actually everything that it can pull off almost everything. Do you think evolving into that career today and in the future, it is still going to be sustainable? Mr. Eric, I hope you get my question.
Yeah, I think I do. I think AI, no, I don't think I know AI is going to be around in the next 50 years. So we're just scratching the surface right now. I think we're just working with large language models. We're going to see a lot of computer vision application. We're going to see a lot of autonomous systems. So when you order food, instead of your Uber driver to bring to you, maybe not in Nigeria this soon, but here in the next 5 years, it will be like a small unmanned vehicle who's going to deliver that food to you or humanoid. So there's going to be a lot of autonomous, the world is going to look very autonomous. So there's going to be a lot of autonomous entities around. So we need people who are data savvy to actually work on those fields. We also need people who can prompt AI better. So there's a field called prompt engineering. So those prompt engineering is how to prompt this AI system. So we are going to be, the humans are going to be one level above the systems that are coming. So we need to be learn how to control those systems. So we learn how to control them using prompt engineering. But going back to the bottom of the pyramid, which is data analytics, we need to know how to get data, clean data, and process data, because that's the foundation of everything. That's a lifeblood. We can, there are also businesses that just collect data. So data is literally gold. So without those data, those AI systems or those autonomous systems cannot function. AI, or what you're talking about, has been around for a very, very long time. But back then we used Excel to do regression analysis, which is painful. But now, because of cloud, we can scale and do better applications. So this calculation, this statistical models have been around for a very long time, but now we have the cloud to power and process this information better. So to your question, in summary, I think it's wise to jump into data right now. If you want to go deeper, you can go into NVIDIA and learn things like agentic AI. That's a new one that's on this year. Next year, it's going to be continuous agentic AI, and there's going to be physical AI. So how AI interacts with the world physically. So humanoid automated system. So it's still a long stretch. We're going to learn more as we go along, but I definitely think AI is going to be around the next 50 years. It's the highest paying profession down here in the North America. So it's a good field to jump into, because it's still, there's still longevity. It's not oversaturated.
That was great one. Thank you very much,
I think there's
Mr.
a
Eric.
question
Really
from
appreciate.
Desmond.
Okay, we have a question from Desmond. He said, Mr. Eric, can you please elaborate on starting data analytics from the middle? Thank you.
Yeah, I can.
So
Probably
you
we
are
share
elaborating
again.
on starting data from the middle.
So the
Okay.
middle would be here. If you can see my screen. So if you're starting data analytics here, this is the best point for starting data analytics. So here and here. So all you need to learn is a bit of SQL and a bit of DAX. So you don't need to do all the engineering. You don't need to move complex data, right? You don't need to move complex data from all sorts. You just start in the middle, which is data analysis, right? Learn Power BI, learn SQL Server, or learn how to learn how to use SQL Server. And this is, you can download SQL Server. This is SQL Server, download SQL Server, download Power BI, create a connection, push data from here and start doing what you do and learn. This is the best place to start. Then when you learn here, when you think you're like 50% here, you can say, okay, fine, I want to go back into engineering and learn concept of engineering, because engineering is more harder to learn. Or I want to go forward and learn AI or data science. But learning how to move data and to interpret data in a business context, I think this is a sweet spot to start on. If you don't like anything on this line, you can go to data governance, and the knowledge you learn from here by understanding hierarchy, workplace security, data sensitivity, sensitivity labels, and data. You can be able to create a data council that can advise the whole data flow from end to end. So starting from here is always a sweet spot. This is where I started. And from here, I went forward and I've gone back. And after a while, after like 10 years, I would say I'm a full stack data developer, because I've worked on each of this track. So starting here is key. This is where you get the most money. This and this get the most money. This and this get similar. But the most money is here. But the reason why you get the most money here is because they don't really have a lot of people. It's still very new. This concept came out like 4 or 5 years ago, not really too old. So before it was just these three. So starting in the middle is a very sweet spot for you to start on.
Thank you very much.
A key
Thank
component.
you. We have another question here also. The key components required for someone to be considered data literate?
You need to understand, not the code, you need to understand the concepts of data. You need to understand how data moves from one place to the other. Like I created that, the visual I just showed, how data moves from one place to the other. Don't forget about the code, just understand the concept of ETL and ELT or ELT, either of them. Once you understand that concept, then you'll be able to visualize or conceptualize how data move. The rest, aside from that, other thing you need is the tools and the language. So if you're dealing with streaming data, for example, security camera data that catches plate numbers, you need something like Kafka or Stream Analytics. If you're using IoT data from telemetry data, you need something like IoT Hub. If you're dealing with static data, you know what kind of tools to use. If you want to move data in different, so that whole framework is just not the main thing. The main thing is the concept, because all the data move the same way towards they all move forward. So you need to understand the concept of an motion movement of data as opposed to the technology. Technology is something you can Google, you can learn, and it's easy. Codes, you can use GPT to start code and you debug. But understanding the concept first on how data moves, on how enterprise work with data, how all enterprise use data, I think these are the core concepts you need to understand. Then after you understand the concept, you can now cite, okay, diving into analytics or governance or whatever, but the concept on how data moves. So ETL, understanding that how data moves, then you can, data modeling. So ETL, data modeling, those are the kind of things you need to understand conceptually before you think about the tools, because there are like 3 million tools to do those things with. But my tool of choice is Microsoft. So I hope that answers your question. What's the biggest challenge organizations face in improving data literacy among? I think people are scared to jump into to answer the second question, what is the biggest challenge organization facing in improving data literacy among employees? I think people are scared and they are trapped in their old ways. So I think that's the biggest thing. And number two, to improve data literacy, you need to improve the quality of data. You need to there's something called citizen developers. So citizen developers are people like the business manager, like the admin manager, the operational manager, those guys that don't know anything about data. So we need to make them citizen developers. In the case that we clean the data, make sure the data is clean enough and accurate, then we push that data to those citizen developer, the HR manager, the operation manager. Those women are they are the business users. They understand the problem, day-to-day problem. So if we give them clean data, they'll be able to now start making informed decision and better use of data. If you give me data, I can only do as much as I know technically, but I really don't understand the problem of business only if you explain. But I believe the HR manager or the operation manager know the pain points of the business and they know how they can use data to better solve that problem. So I think, yeah, having that concept. So it's also called democratizing data. So you democratize data and you give data to everybody. It's also called self-serve BI. So that means the HR managers, the norm data users can self-serve BI, and that means data engineers and data analysts need to provide curated data to those people downstream. So I hope that answered the question.
Very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We really
You're welcome.
appreciate this articulation. Does anyone have any question again before we let Mr. Eric go? Any other question? Okay, we have one question here, Mr. Eric from Sariat. He said, what will you suggest or advise as the first step into data analytics as an HR personnel?
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. So, I need to clarify, do you want to continue being an HR personnel or do you want to go into full-time data?
Sarah, please, you can unmute comment, respond, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, so I intend to marry both if it's possible.
Okay, so if you're thinking about that, you need to move more into HRIS. So HRIS. And if you're going to do that, you have to be data heavy, because they typically will want you to understand systems like Trello and HR systems. But that's not really where you want to be. If you want to be in data and HR, you need to understand things like churn, and you have to go into data properly and learn about headcounts, learn about human capital dashboard. So if you Google those human capital dashboard or labor cost analysis, so if you see labor cost analysis, Power BI, you see different dashboards. So you start to see what you can create and the insights you can pull out of data when it comes to HR. You can now mix HR data with labor cost reports. You're mixing HR data with finance reports from the organization and producing something that you can use to estimate that your workforce. If you also want to move forward in data science in HR, you can do things like churn analysis. I've done that. Is on one of my publications on. If you Google my name on Tableau Public, you can see dashboards that created in 2016 on that. It's called churn analysis. So we're trying to predict who is going to leave the organization within the next 6 months. So we use historical data based on people who have left and people who are around. So we use that as the independent variable. Then we use all other columns as a dependent variable. So the dependent variables might be length of stay, how much they earn, level in the organization, and the variables. So if you mix all those variables together, then use that variable to attack the independent variable, which is leaving or staying. Then if you use predictive analytics using like a random forest, a random forest is a multiple of decision trees matched up together. It's called a random forest. If you use that kind of model to predict the future, then you're able to tell. The one I created was 90% certainty that people are going to leave. Like the model was 90% accurate. So it predicted people that are going to leave um, within the next 1 month. And the HR system, HRS and HR team had to go meet those kind of people and ask them why, what they can do better to stay. And this kind of analysis save companies from things like turnover costs. So turnover costs in HR is like when people, I employ you today, tomorrow you leave, I employ you again, tomorrow you leave. So that turnover, you to onboard them costs money, to recruit them costs money, to send their laptops costs money. For each employee that is coming to the organization and leaving costs a lot of money. But this is what we call hidden fees in HR. Most people don't understand what that means because they don't even see what's going on. It's a hidden fee. So if you can help organizations to be able to limit the rate of turnover. So imagine your company has 20,000 employees and the turnover is like 500 employees every year. The rate of that turnover, if you can reduce it by 50%, you save that company a lot of money. Because for here, if you're a new employee, the onboarding, offboarding, laptops, it costs a lot of money setting up your infrastructure, the IT department. So it costs us a lot of money. So with HR churn analysis, you can look at that. It's called churn analysis. It helps, So those are the kind of ways you can get into HR HRIS as or data as an HR professional. You don't need data engineering. You can start from data analytics and data science and just move forward. I hope that answers the question. And my email is on the profile is on the chats, and also I'm going to leave my LinkedIn there as well. So if you need to get in touch, you can also always get in touch with me. Shooting me a message. I'll answer as soon as I can.
Thank you very much, Eric. This is Joel Omike. Thank you very much for a wonderful session.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. I might not stay to the end because it's 2 a.m. here. So yeah. So if you don't see me, I probably might have gone to get some rest. I have a busy day tomorrow.
All right. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. But
Thank
I'm
you.
going to stick around for a bit.
Wait, it's all right. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you
So
very much.
while we wait for yes, our hosts to come back online, my name is Joel Omike, and the session you just had now is from Eric, and he's done fantastically well using that expression to help us appreciate the good value in being able to break out into different roles in the analytics space. And this continues to help us to achieve great results and also to advance as much as possible. We will take some 5 minutes break now, and we shall continue at 11:20. So please go grab a drink or something, and then I'll hand over to the host. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joel. Please pardon me for the network break. Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Eric for that fine presentation. Mr. Joel will take over after this. Like he has said, please stretch for a few minutes and we'll come back and then join Mr. Joel in the next topic to discuss. So please, you can stretch your leg and maybe drink some water as we'll get back in the next 5 to 10 minutes. At 11:20, we'll start. Thank you very much.
All right, so like has been said, we're here to discuss about the career path and the roadmap to a profession in data analytics or data sciences. In this discourse, we are going to go through what an analyst career is and why it is interesting to choose a career in data science or in data analytics. We shall also look at the various career paths that exist. What are the different career paths in order to achieve your career objectives in this space? Then we'll look at the difference. What's the difference between being a data scientist and a data analyst, right? What are the difference between these two? And which one should you pursue down the line? Then we'll look at how do you get started? Which of these career paths are interesting and right for you, and how do you get about it at that point in time? Then we'll share a couple of bonus resources that P4PE Institute uses to support individuals who are interested in pursuing this career. All right. So in our session today, we shall illustrate why and how you can achieve this career success. We will learn about new jobs that are created in data science or big data, machine learning, and data analytics. We'll look at various experiences and inputs that are required in order for you to achieve progress and success in this area. So let's start first with the education. What is the education that is required for you to become a data scientist or a data analyst? For a data analyst, you really do not need a formal university to become a data analyst. You can attend training programs like the ones organized by various institutions, including P4PE Institute, and you can become a data analyst after you attend them and then practice. However, a data scientist might require an MSc, right? It might require a higher institution knowledge and background to be able to achieve that. The average cost of a data scientist or data analyst, especially in abroad, is averagely like $18,000 or less, right? Depending on which school or education you are attending. But if you're going to pursue an MSc, right, you most probably be spending as much as $40,000 to $50,000. Now, the average boot camp on data science takes about 12 weeks. to attain to, right? If you do full-time, right, it is much shorter for you. And there are various locations where you can do this. The beauty of it also is that it is a rigorous session. On the other hand, in MSc in data science, it is a set of courses and you must put in like 20 to 30 hours a week. That's like half of the working time each week in a year before you can cover up at that point in time. It is usually difficult for you to find jobs as an entry-level data analyst or data professional. But with practice and you start posting projects and portfolios over time, you begin to find some of those particular things that you require. What are the prerequisites that is required for you to become a data scientist or analyst? First, you need to understand a little bit of mathematics and statistics, or learn how to use applications and tools that generate statistical analysis and reports for you. You must also understand machine learning and the algorithm in those particular areas. If you have a master's in data analytics, it is fantastic. It helps you at that point in time. So these are some of the basic requirements that you need, all right? And then you begin to train in various skills areas and portfolios that you should do. Should you create a portfolio? Do you need a portfolio? Because people always talk about, show evidence. Yes, you need a portfolio. You need to create a portfolio on your LinkedIn or any social platform where you are that you're going to use to show that you understand what you're doing. Some use GitHub, all right? Some use other kind of platforms or their personal website in order to show some of this. Some on Facebook. So you promote all of this so that people will know that you are able and you can do some of those particular things and those cases. Now let's look at the roles. Data scientists versus artificial intelligence versus machine learning versus data analysts versus business intelligence. What are the differences? What are all these particular things and how do they add up? First, the title data scientist is new, right? And it is not 100% well defined. We are still building the curriculum in those particular areas. And because it lacks specificity, it is not very specific. It can sometimes be called data analyst, but they are not the same thing, right? A data scientist has a combination of analytical skills, machine learning skills, data mining skills, and statistical skills. He is also able to code algorithms down the line. They have expertise in programs like R, SAS, Python, MATLAB, SQL, right? And other ones also. But the most important skills that they have is the ability to explain the importance of data and what can be used by data to other people at that time. Now, what's the difference between a data scientist and a data analyst? A data scientist uses descriptive statistics, very minimal, while a data analyst uses descriptive statistics a lot of time. So what it does, a descriptive statistics is the statistics that shows to you what has happened, describing an event, describing a series of actions or events that has happened at that point in time. So the analyst described yesterday based on the data that is presented at that point in time. While on the other hand, a data scientist is more prescriptive, is more machine learning inclined. He has more experience and background in those areas, knowing what to do and where to go to from that point in time. So the focus is more futuristic for the data scientist. If you look at the two, the data analyst uses things like SQL, analytics packages, and statistical packages, while the data scientist acquires data, measures, manipulates, programs, and uses advanced analytics at that point in time. So those are some of the things you find the difference between these two individuals. Now, what's the difference between a data scientist and a business intelligence expert? So usually the business intelligence person always describes what has happened or diagnoses problems at that point in time. While, like we said earlier, the data scientist is focused on predictive and prescriptive. at that time. So those are the core differences between those two individuals. I hope those are clear in looking at the data scientist and what differentiates the two of them. All right, now let's turn our attention to algorithms and machine learning. Now, when it comes to machine learning, the question is, how much of machine learning skills do you need to learn? Do you need to have in order to be able to do some of these works very well? We don't expect you to have too much, all right, as a data scientist, but as you make progress towards becoming a data scientist, yes, will require much more from you at that point in time. Thank you. So we'll be looking at things like decision tree, random forest, logistic regression, naive biases, k-means. These are some of the things that you'll find in machine learning algorithms. But the question is, how much of it should you learn? So for those who are into artificial intelligence, it will be okay for them to learn a couple of things, like Python. If you learn Python automation and values around Python, it will help a lot for you. But if I break down the skills very well, you notice that what is required is different depending on the sector you find yourself in. An example, a data scientist who is in professional services will need a lot of data science skills and background at that point in time to be able to understand very well. Okay? And those will assist you as much as possible. Now, why choose a career in data analysis or data science? Why do people choose career in data science and analysis? The reason is because data science is a 21st century job. It is the new job of today, and you need to pay attention to why we have those particular jobs today. It helps us to understand what is in vogue, what is required, and how we can achieve the greatest results at that point in time. Every field, right, today requires data analysis. Some 3, 4, 5 years ago, we were talking about data analysis. We were telling people to pay attention to it as if it was a joke. Today, AI is built on data analysis. This is why it's important as data scientists and data analysts. You notice that AI is easy for you to use, easy to program, because you have those skills at that point. Now, what role does data analysts play? Data analysts usually ask business questions. They collect, they clean data, and they're able to interpret that particular data effectively. So business questions, like they define what problems you want to solve. Then they get data. They collect the data that is required to solve that business problem. They can also explore the data with visual explorations to understand what is happening in the data set, right? You also find them being able to prepare the data, like cleaning the data, calculating the fields, validating the fields that you have there, or analyzing the data. They use data analysis techniques to understand, to interpret, to derive conclusions on the data that they have at that time. And then finally, they present their data. They present their findings and share their insights to various management stakeholders on their data analytics at that point in time. So those are some of the things we notice in this area. So a career in data analytics or data science is very lucrative and very rewarding. But the path to starting or advancing a data science or analytics career is not always straightforward. Unlike your traditional jobs that you can go to training, after the training, you get a job and start like that. It doesn't work that way. For example, there is no particularly technical bachelor's degree or master's degree that is required before you become a data science professional. You simply need the skills and experience that is required. Are there demands for data analysts? Are there jobs for them? Are there requirements for them? Absolutely. Google, if you visit the page of Google called Google Trends, just go to Google Trends and type data analytics. It will show you the trend in data analytics. Or go to Jobs in USA, the website. or jobs in Nigeria, just go to careerbuilder.com. You will see a lot of jobs that are data analysis related. Or even on LinkedIn, just go to LinkedIn and put jobs in Nigeria for data analysts. It gives you quite a lot of jobs that are required in those particular areas. Are you suited to be a data analyst? Should you pursue it? To consider whether you are suited for data analyst, first question is, do you love continual learning? Are you the kind of person that likes learning, training, developing yourself regularly? Because data analysis is a space that continues to evolve. It's like AI. It's not fixed. It's not like it's finished, like accounting. Accounting knowledge is complete. It's documented. You read one textbook, you go to school, you write the exam, you pass, you're an accountant. But not in data analysis and in AI. These areas are emerging, evolving, changing, and developing down the line at that point. So you need to work yourself up and ensure you improve what you're doing at that point. You also need a natural curiosity about data. You must be the kind of person that is curious. Once you see data, you want to find out more. What is inside it? All right. You must have a high interest in technical things and high attention to details. All of this will help you, and the ability to tell stories at that time. Now, what are some skills required for a data analyst? The basic skills that are required, and Eric mentioned it earlier when he was speaking. Some of the basic skills that you require are spreadsheet skills, SQL skills, programming skills, and business intelligence. Now, it doesn't matter the platform you use. Everybody has preference in terms of platform. For example, spreadsheet, whether it is Excel or Google Sheet, you must understand how to use sheets, all those spreadsheets, Excel, Google Sheet, understand it very well. 2, SQL. The beauty of SQL is being able to manage data and administer data. So you have MySQL, you have Oracle SQL, you have MS SQL, different type of SQL, but most of their commands are the same thing. Most of the platform and architecture are generally the same thing. And there are things you can learn and can build yourself in at that point in time. Then you need to learn some programming language. I know some of you are afraid of programming. I don't want to be a programmer. I don't want to start learning how to code. I understand you. But there are platforms today that help you, that do the coding for you and support you at that point in time. At the very minimum, when it comes to data analytics, there are 2 codes, 2 languages, very important, Python and R. You can learn others like C, like Java and things, but build your skill at least in Python or at least in R, and you do well in that area. Then for business intelligence are applications or platforms that help you to present the data, interpret the data, and drive stakeholders to take decisions. Platforms like Power BI, Tableau, Cognos, Oracle. In our environment today, Power BI and Excel are the most common that we can use to be able to present such data at that time, so we can achieve the greatest results as much as possible. So that's what you will find. What is the salary like of data scientists and data professionals? Is the salary attractive? Well, at entry levels, the salary are not so much. But even at entry level, the salaries are very, very juicy, as the case is. So you can earn very high salaries, as high as $95,000 for data scientists, right? And that is the average starting salary. Or $70,000, that is the median salary as a data analyst at that time. Or above $100,000, up to $129,000 if you are in your mid-career. That means you have gone far. You've been in data analysis for like 5 to 10 years, right? And you have experience of projects and organizations you've worked in to back it up. You can earn as much as $129,000 a year in terms of salary. Now, when you rise up to become a manager of data analysts, you're managing other data scientists at that point in time. The salary is as high as $250,000. All right. So those are examples of some of these particular things that shows that a career in data analysis is very, very lucrative and attractive. Salary range further. In the US, you have salaries from about 73,000. That's the average salary. In the UK, is about 47,000 pounds. All right. In Australia, it's about 100,000 pounds, as the case is. Now, what is the demand for professionals in this particular area? To know whether that profession, data analytics, is a is a profession that a lot of people are hiring, just search online and find out. For example, all the way in 2020, estimated jobs in data analytics is about 2.7 million. And average time it takes is 45 days for them to fill vacancies in that particular area. And the average salary is $80,000. That's amazing. So, I mean, after 2.7 million jobs, if you prepare, you will be one of these 2.7 million individuals, as the case is. Now, for specific positions like data-driven decision makers, that is the highest vacancies that we have. Data-driven decision makers, right? Then after that one is functional analysts, like HR analysts, finance analysts, IT analysts, operations analysts, marketing analysts. So as a functional analyst, there's still opportunities in those particular areas, all right? And then there are the analytics managers, those who are leaders or GAs, if I may use that expression, of the people working in that space, all right? You'll notice that their own salary is almost times 150% or some of the other ones. So clearly, there are jobs, there are opportunities in this particular space for those who are interested in pursuing it, all right? So the highest paying analytical skills today are the following skills. MapReduce, Pig, machine learning. So go and learn machine learning. It's one of the easiest for you to learn. Big data, data science, all right? Those are skills you can go and learn, so to speak, and they are doing very well. They are skills you can learn. How long will it take you to achieve career in this area? You can start your career to data science in just 3 months. In 3 months, you can start that career and be able to achieve results. So this roadmap will help you to learn data science skills from scratch and advance at that point in time. So we're going to share with you a roadmap now for career advancement and achievement in this area. This roadmap is structured into technical skills that you require and the resources you require. We'll also show you projects that you can do in order to be good in this area. We'll show you the soft skills and resources you need to achieve it. We even give you some templates and some tips to write your resume and also a guide for interview so you can achieve this particular success in this area. So those are what is possible for you. Now let's see how you can achieve a data analytics career in 3 months. How you can become an analyst in 3 months. Here's a calendar that can help you. We're going to look at how 3 months, that is 12 weeks of working, how you can build a career in data analytics in this area. In the first 2 weeks, you will focus on Excel. Develop skill in Excel. If you have skill in Excel already, go and improve upon it, right? What are the things you should read, you should learn in Excel? Learn basic formulas, sum, average, median, sum products, concatenate, right? Those basic formulas that manipulate data, go and learn it. Also learn the advanced formulas, VLOOKUP, index match, if, count if, sum if. Learn all those things and it will help you to achieve as much results as possible. Learn how to remove duplicates. To clean data in Excel. Learn, but those are the basics you should learn. Where will you find resources that will help you to learn these things? There are complete tutorials on YouTube that you can learn. And when you get this material for this presentation and this conference and summit, you can visit this particular site. This is the YouTube site you can go to learn this. This is the site in YouTube, Excel for Beginners. And then there's Google Template Gallery where you can get a lot of spreadsheets And then there's a full Excel project that can help you understand Excel very well. So you can go and learn that. Now, after the first 2 weeks of learning Excel, you now move into the next thing that you need to learn. You now need to learn maths and statistics. Still within that particular 2 weeks, you learn maths and statistics. Look for arithmetic, weighted mean, cumulative sum, percentile, mean, median, mode, standard deviations. Learn all these things. Again, I share with you some YouTube videos and some resources that you can learn. All right. There's YouTube video that is called Complete Statistics for Data Analysis in 6 hours. There's also statistics tutorial for beginners by Simple Learn. All right. Any one of these will help you to advance in statistics. Now, next steps. After you have finished learning Excel and you have finished learning statistics, it is now time to progress. Go to your LinkedIn profile. Go and update your LinkedIn and show that you now have Excel skills, that you now have statistical skills and analysis at that point in time. Make full Excel project and post it on your resume and also on LinkedIn so that people can see it at that point in time. Then if you're good enough, use GitHub account in order to create your profile and add it there. If you do this successfully, if you've gotten to this point, right, you have already achieved 20% of the roadmap required to become a professional data analyst today. Now, let's change our attention to the next one. For the next 3 weeks, you are now going to pay attention to SQL. SQL. For 3 weeks, learn SQL. Basic queries, select, where, distinct, like, between, order by, limit, group by, having clause, insert, update, alter, import, various things. Learn these particular queries, how to run these queries in SQL. Advanced queries, date time functions, window functions, subqueries, case sensitive, case sentences, and other query optimization. Learn all these things. Learn how to join tables. Inner join, outer join, left join, right join. Learn how to join these things together. And you can achieve this in 3 weeks with SQL. If you do this for 3 weeks, you will advance in your data analytics career preparation. Now, what resources can help you? Again, I come with some resources that you can use to assist you in this area. You can go to SQL tutorials in one video on YouTube, or SQL for beginners. There's a playlist on YouTube, or you go to W3 School. They have some fantastic resource on SQL. Go from beginning of that W3 website SQL, from beginning till the end. Go through all the things they presented there. You notice that you're good to go at that point in time. Then there are other videos like SQL Data Analysis Portfolio Project, so you can create your project, and SQL Interview Question Playlist, so they can ask you some questions in SQL, and then you can prepare for an interview in case if you get a job that requires the use of SQL skills at that point in time. What next? Once you have done this, there are additional resources to help you. These are resources to help you learn. Now let's look at resources to help you practice SQL. Again, the same W3 School, Hacker Rank SQL, 8 weeks SQL challenge case study. You don't have to do it for 8 weeks. You can do it in 1 week if you wish to. Then Data Lemon and Lead Code. Each of these can help you to achieve your success in SQL. Again, if you follow this very well, you will have learned SQL properly. What should you do next? Make a full SQL project and add it to your resume. Under where in your resume you added Excel and you added statistics, go and add SQL in that particular place. Connect with 100 people on LinkedIn who are in data analysis and data science industry. Go to LinkedIn, search data analytics and data science. Anybody that you see that has that in his profile, send him a connection invite, so to speak, or follow the individual. So when they post things, you can see it at that point in time. Also on LinkedIn, make sure you are people who are heads of data science units and departments. Go and connect with all of them, at least 50 of them. If you connect with 50 of them, they will notice you whenever they have vacancies, projects, and assignments. They will notice you and invite you to be a part of that particular project. And guess what? If you achieve this thing I've said up to this particular page, you have achieved 40% of your roadmap in becoming an expert in data science and data analytics. The next thing now, let's now progress, is to move into visualization, business intelligence tools, or Power BI or Tableau, any one of them. If you're a beginner, my suggestion is that you should learn Power BI instead of Tableau. But if you're an advanced user already, you can learn Tableau at that point in time, because Tableau is in high demand and feels similar to Microsoft Excel, all right? Now, step one, let's look at Power BI. You want to learn Power BI. What are the resources you need for Power BI? There's Power BI tutorial and projects. You see that on YouTube. There's Power BI Bootcamp. There is a YouTube channel for Power BI. There's Power BI full course by Edureka, sorry. And then there's Power BI by Udemy. Any one of these courses, you should attend them. Some of them are free. The ones that are on YouTube are free. But the ones that are on Udemy, you may need to pay a token to partake of that particular program. Then start doing projects on Power BI. Try your hands on a few projects that you can do. And here are some projects you can do from Google and from YouTube. There is Power BI dashboard project end-to-end. So go and learn how to create a dashboard. There is Power BI dashboard end-to-end again, another type of it. Then there's Power BI report by Data with Decisions. That could also help you. And finally, there's end-to-end project by KSR Data Vision. Try them. They will help you to develop the skill of Power BI. Now, if you're an advanced person, here is the resource that you need to learn Tableau. Then you can go and learn Tableau, be a part of Tableau at that point in time. So Tableau Basics for Beginners in Hindi by Great Learning. It's actually in Hindi language, but you can follow the steps that is shown online and you can learn at that point. Then there's other platforms like Tableau by Edureka. There's Tableau tutorial by Simple Learn, and there's Tableau Udemy course. The first three are YouTube channels and videos, which you can learn from at that time. Then projects you can do on Tableau. You can do sample Tableau projects, and below are some examples that you can do, all right? Practice with examples by Simple Learn, Sales Insight by Code Basic, and Customer Analysis and Dashboard by Stanley. You can learn through all those ones. You will notice that once you have reached this point and you have finished, you have achieved at least 60% of the roadmap required at this point in time. You see already that you're already a data analyst at this point in time. Now let's spend the next 3 weeks on programming language. This time we learn Python. So spend some time to go and learn Python instead of R, right? Python is recommended for beginners. It's easier to learn. As a beginner, you learn programming language to an intermediate level. Don't become a master. It's a waste of time. No project requires you to be a master. If there are projects that require you to be a master, it's usually a team-based project, not one person, as the case is. Then what are some programming tools that you require in Python? Variables, data sets, tuples, dictionaries, Python libraries like pandas, matplotlib, you need all those ones. Then pandas, read writes, and then matplotlib helps you to create statistical analysis. What are the resources that can help you to learn Python? Here are some resources. There's a Python roadmap. There's the Python tutorial for beginners. There's Python course by Udemy. There's W3 School. There's Python for data science, and there's Python tutorial. Each of these will help you to build your capacity in Python programming. Then the other resources that you may need to help you for pandas and MATLAB include things like Python for data science, pandas tutorial by Krish, Matplotlib, Project Cricket data analysis, COVID analysis by Simple Learn, solving real world data, and things like that. Those are the things you will have left very well. Now, if you finish learning Python, like we have said, the next step is for you to go back and do a complete project on Python and post it on your various platforms and CVs. like we said earlier. An example of such platforms will help you to present yourself as an expert. Once you finish learning Python, guess what? You're 80% ready. You are 80% data analyst professional. Now it is time to look at the last 20%, and the last 20% are soft skills. Go and learn some soft skills. Communication skills, analytical skills, problem-solving skills, storytelling skills, and also business understanding skills. When you finish learning these skills won't take you one week to learn. So I was thrown out earlier. Sorry about that. Please confirm you can still see my slide as I'm trying to reshare it again. Yes, the slide is showing again. All right, beautiful. Okay, so like we said earlier, continue to build your skills in this particular area. Use the CV templates that we just mentioned in order to improve what you are doing, so you can identify better ways to do it better at that point in time, right? Then begin to interview, prepare for interviews, and see what you can do at that point in time. If you have gotten to this extent at this point in time, then you have done very well, right? You have done very well. Use Glassdoor, use LinkedIn to prepare for various interviews. And then finally, you have achieved 100% readiness with respect to your roadmap to becoming a data scientist and analysis at that point. So that's my presentation to you to help you to become a guru, to become an expert in this particular area of data scientists and data analysis, as the case is. We here at P4PE Institutes, we run various programs that can assist you to achieve great success in this area, whether it is an Excel analytics course, as the case is, or it is a data analytics program that you're looking at that point in time. You can excel in any one of those particular areas, and you can join and achieve great results. You can also join us on some of the groups that we have. Here is our LinkedIn Data Analytics Professional Group. You can join that particular group and then connect with us, and we'll be able to provide you with different results and analysis. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Joel Omike.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joel, for that inciting session that you hold with us. I really appreciate how you have taken us down the lane, the roadmap of how, even though you have a little knowledge or no knowledge at all in that particular area, step by step on how you can be able to go about it and then get yourself into a data analytics industry. So we are grateful for that exciting section. So we want to ask the audience if they have any questions for Mr. Joel. So Mr. Joel, please stay tuned a little while we ask you some questions before you go. So Is there any question for Mr. Joel? So, Mr. Joel, from the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned earlier about the two key roles in data analytics. You said that to become a data scientist, that you need to have an MSc in any of those roles. Can you hear me, Mr. Joel?
Yes, very well.
Yeah. Now, does that mean that someone in our first degree will also need to have something related to that in our first degree for us to be able to be in that position, or just to acquire an MSc certificate? The question is that, say, for instance, my first degree is something quite different, completely different from anything related to data or data scientist, or I'm not even studying statistics or mathematics at all. Will I still be able to navigate into that particular field?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So for data analysts, you do not need degree, right, to be able to do it. Just get 1 or 2 certifications and projects, portfolios, you're good to go. But for data science is education-driven, is research-driven. You need to understand the art of carrying out research and actually show evidence that you've done research. That is why it is always recommended that the fastest route to data science is that you get a master's degree. That's the fastest way to become a data scientist, as the case is. So it does not matter the first degree that you have. If it is in sociology or is in physics, you can still apply for a master's degree. If you are applying to a master's degree, you will now do what they call there's a project or a course you take that helps you to understand statistics before you finish your course at that point in time. Then you can then focus on data science projects at that time. So foundationally, data analysis, no degree. But data scientists, the most successful ones, either has an MSc or has multiple research projects to back them up at that time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that comment. Do we still have any question for Mr. Joel? All right, Mr. Joel, we are grateful for this presentation. We say thank you very much. All of us, we want to take some few minutes to stretch our leg as well. We'll come back in the next 5 minutes for the next session. So thank you very much and stay tuned.